Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy, and at the request of Patreon subscriber MPBC, this is Nadu Depths. I've been talking a lot lately, as I play Nadu decks and play against Nadu decks across various formats, that there's a spectrum of Nadu decks where you can go all the way in and kind of win with Thassa's Oracle or some other infinite or near infinite combo. Or you could just play a Leovold-esque 3-mana threat with good stats in your deck and not really try to combo out with it. And then there's a bunch of shades of gray in between. This build is very close to the almost no synergies side of things. Very close to just playing this as a Leovold and having that inside of just kind of traditional green-white depths. The core of this deck is to make and protect PARROT LAGE. You have 4 copies of Elvish Reclaimer, 4 copies of Knight of the Reliquary, 4 crop rotations. All these are moving lands around like crazy. Green Sun Zenith accesses this toolbox full of creatures, which includes Nadu, conveniently green. And if the coast is clear or your hand supports it, you can go for a quick 20/20 and just bash. This deck can also go into Ramunap Excavator plus Wasteland locks. Flagstones of Trocare is a value engine with Elvish Reclaimer. You get to tutor 2 lands instead of 1. And if your opponent is being super stingy and not letting you have a 20/20, Elvish Reclaimer is the 3/4 that hits perfectly well. Knight of the Reliquary gets huge, hits really hard. And then this build has the 2 copies of Nadu that are tutorable with Green Sun Zenith. Things that go with Nadu include 1 copy of Shuko, which goes with our 1 copy of Urza Saga, which can be tutored with all these things that we mentioned before. You can also target Nadu with Karakas. You can equip creatures with Lava Spur Boots. You could technically Swords to Plowshare your own creature to trigger Nadu. Not sure why you'd want to, but you could. And Sylvan Safekeeper, very good at doing this actually. Sack a land, target creature control gains Shroud. That gets a lot better if the land might replace itself right away. This card gets played in this deck anyway. There are infinite loops if you build your deck to support them using Endurance and Sylvan Safekeeper. That's how the modern Nadu deck functions. You could basically sack all your lands, flip your whole deck, Endurance all your lands back in, flip your whole deck again, set it up so you can Otawara or Boseiju all your opponent's permanents, and then pass the turn while they have nothing and you have 7 cards in hand and all your lands in play. This deck doesn't do that because there's no Springheart Nantuko or Scoot Swarm, or there is one Field of the Dead that can kind of simulate that, but if you have to sack all your lands to start that loop, it makes it really hard to keep that in the necessary land count for field. So we're not really counting on that to be a thing, though I am aware that it exists in Magic the Gathering. And that's what we're doing here. This is Green-White Depths. It's a 20/20 combo deck, or a Green-White Death and Taxes Maverick-style control deck. And now we have Nadu somewhere in the middle. Let's get into it. I'm on the play in round 1. My hand does exactly one thing, but I think it's good enough. I'm going to keep this. And what my hand does is it Zeniths for Elvish Reclaimer with a Flagstones of Trocare in play. I'll bite on that basically every time. I don't play a lot of Mox Diamond decks, and it makes me really happy to do this. Now grief me. Grief reanimate me. Come after me. Well, we're not going to get griefed out of a Prismatic Vista. Might get Swords to Plowshare, though. Oh, red. Fascinating. Lightning Bolt. What deck does that? Prismatic Vista. I mean, my hand's bad now, but I am really interested in what deck we're playing against. This sequence doesn't really jive with any of the top of the format, in my knowledge. It could just be Burn with some fetch lands, I guess, but that would be weird. Big Endurance. Do I have any tech, forests, or plains to fetch? Nope. Then I'm just going to play the Savannah and not worry about Windswept Heath. Also not going to attack with Dryad Arbor. Oh, wait. I forgot how Mox Diamond works. Yeah, I had mana. I could have attacked there. For some reason, I thought I needed that green, but I don't. Containment Priest. Wow, look at you coming after me with my Green Sun Zenith strategy. I don't know what this Boros deck is, but it is terrifying for what I'm doing. Guide of Souls, okay. Got a little Mardudu going on. Amped Raptor. Get hyped. Okay. Boros Energy here in Legacy. They hit another Guide of Souls. Got a lot going on over there. Please attack with a Containment Priest. Hell yeah. Oh no, shit. Hell no. They have the 3 energy. Bummer. Yeah, that did work out extremely well for them. Okay. In bad shape here. I'm gonna get Endurance in. I don't know if they use their graveyard, but I'm taking it. Nadu. Okay. I mean, no synergies, but that's how the deck's constructed. Don't target my shit. If you're not familiar with the interaction between Containment Priest and Dryad Arbor, a Dryad Arbor actually cannot enter the battlefield if Containment Priest is active. Even if you just play it from your hand in your main phase, you can't fetch for it, you can't play it as your land. There are no conditions without another card being involved where a Dryad Arbor can enter the battlefield and not get exiled. Alright, here comes the Boros Energy. They hit a Lotus Petal. Just good deck building. Swords of Plowshares, Place Slip Caracas. Hit Lava Spur Boots. We were so close, team. Almost could have done Nadu stuff. And they can amp up this Raptor up to a 4/3 first strike. I will not be blocking it. Yavimaya. They know about these Lava Spur Boots. Might as well attach them to Endurance, I guess. Play Windswept Heath and then die. And the fact that they have these basic lands and Prismatic Vista in their main deck, I suspect this is going to be a Blood Moon strategy. If not in the main, certainly eventually. Wow, a Johnny Nicodle, Pariah, and everything. This is just the modern deck. Alright, yeah, I'm dead. Cool. Alright, haven't seen this in Legacy yet. A Prismatic Ending. Just want some interaction. Endurance doesn't seem important. The body is nice, but as we saw, the Guide of Souls makes their stuff bigger than Endurance pretty easily. I could see Mazavith being an important stabilization tool. I did just identify that I suspect they're a Blood Moon deck. Does that mean I bring in Force of Vigor? Okay, I'm not bringing in Mazavith. I'm thinking about Force of Vigor. Fairly confident I want Prismatic Endings. The Zeniths are awkward because they're the best card in my deck, but also we've seen Containment Priest in the main. Surprising inclusion. I wonder if they're playing like Parallax Wave or Flicker Wisp or something that really cashes that out. Or if it's just a main deck hate bear in the colors. Geared towards the scam meta. They're probably not going to do a lot of wastelanding on them. I could live without one of those. I have Prismatic Ending and Outland Liberator that can answer a Blood Moon. Alright, I'm not going to bring in the Force of Vigor. Just a little extra removal. This hand sucks, and now I know that this is not a matchup I could keep something like this. Oh, come on! And I did board out a Wasteland, but I wouldn't have kept this hand even if the Prismatic Ending was a Wasteland. Here, we're going to 5. 29 lands in this deck. Okay, I will finally keep one, and I'm going to put Shuko and Zenith to the bottom. Or is it Shuko Reclaimer and keep a Zenith? If I play double Reclaimer on turn 1, I lose the Flagstones. I could get rid of the Mox Diamond and just play my lands straight up. I think I'm going to do it like that. Just squeezed on raw card count at this point. In a hand that even with 6 cards would have been excellent. Lotus Petal. Plains. Raptor. Hit another Lotus Petal. They do get to keep their energy when they hit Lotus Petal, so that's kind of cool, I guess. And Guide of Souls. Okay. Took the scenic route, but they got there. Drawing this Swords to Plowshares is pretty interesting to me. I was just gonna rotate away my Flagstones, but now that I can interact, and Guide of Souls is a pretty important part of this engine. A Raptor. I think I can afford to wait until combat, or until I see what they flip into. Hit Ocelot Pride. I should have responded there. Yep. Alright. I missed one. No, I didn't. I did not miss 1 point of energy, because I was going to exile the Pride anyway. Okay, this thing can get flying. And we gotta start our adventure towards PARROT Lage. Wasteland, as expected, is not going to do anything. I could Zenith for Dryad Arbor. I'm going to do that. That just gives me literally anything to do here. Okay, Doggo. This thing triggers when it attacks, so it doesn't matter that it's in play right now. It does give them the 3rd energy to buff the other Raptor, which is why they did it when they did. I didn't bring in the Mazavith. Just thinking about what I'm spinning for. Do I just get depths here and try to high roll? And I'm dead in 2 hits. Yeah, this adds up fast. Maybe I was supposed to plow the Guide of Souls. I'm definitely activating this. I get Tundra because that's also a Savannah, thanks to Yavimaya. And then I can get any land on this one. You get Thespian Stage and try to rip the depths. Or crop rotation. Yeah, having Stage untapped gives me more high rolls. Mox Diamond's not one of them. Okay, so 1, 2, activate, depths is in play. 1, 2, I can make PARROT Lage here. I don't know if it's good enough. They're also at 23 life. Okay, Felia is an answer to what are they doing with Containment Priest also. Here comes the squad. This trigger resolve. And then 1, 2, rotate away, Wasteland, get Dark Depths. 1, 2, copy Dark Depths. Keep the one with no counters. 20/20 blocker. Am I going to gain 20 life here? What's going on? Block one of these. I go to 4. Felia can exile that in combat next turn. Unstable Amulet. Flipping another Unstable Amulet. They can't cast that right now. And Ocelot Pride. They are going to gain life. If they get a cat, they're at 24. Can I find 4 more damage anywhere without dying? I have Sajiri Step. I could keep Felia from exiling PARROT Lage. I didn't draw a removal spell. I think I just have to pass here. There's no land that does 4 extra damage. Okay, pass. Basically need them to run really bad or get really unlucky. They cast Amulet, puts me to 3. Now this Amulet flips another thing. If they cast any spell from outside of their hand, they take 2. Doggo, cat token. They have enough energy to amp up here. Oh, they don't even have to do anything. Okay, so Felia is currently targeting PARROT Lage, which means I have to at least Sajiri Step and give Pro White. But I'm still going to lose to this other flying creature because I'm at 3 and they have other burst damage. Alright, yeah, cool stuff. Alright, yeah, sweet tech. Just directly out of Modern and added Wasteland and Lotus Petal as far as I can tell. That's a good recipe. On to the next one. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. I'm on the draw in round 2 and gonna mulligan. Okay, this hand has cards in it. Getting punished by the Nadu splash, because if this was just green-white dips, this would be a green source of some variety. Still gonna keep. Green sources are my most plentiful resource. Blooded Strand, and then it's my turn. Guess I'll just play Caracas. I'm not casting a blue spell here. In case they do, Entomb Reanimate Atraxa. I have a plan. Oh, Grim Monolith. I was not expecting that from a Flooded Strand pass on turn 1. Okay, I now have a path towards Dark Depths, but I think Wastelanding them is my best chance to slow them down here. If this is something like Jewel, they might have needed that additional mana. Whatever it is, it's looking bad for me. Oh my goodness, what's going on over there? Into Show and Tell. Okay. Well, that's not a card I can beat. And they got rid of it, which must mean they already have it, or they're looking for the monster to put in. So the Caracas might actually be holding the fort a little bit here. Transmute Artifact. This could get a 5-drop. Looks bad. The One Ring was selected. They do not have protection because they didn't play that from their hand, but that doesn't matter because I'm not applying pressure. Also, not a legend I'm allowed to bounce. Legendary creatures only. Cowards. Another green card. Good stuff. Tundra, go in. I have a win con now, though. If they just die to their own One Ring without doing anything, that would be great. Interesting diversity in this league, though. 2 decks that I've never seen in life. Another Monolith. I don't think I've shown anything that indicates I am a depths deck either. I'm going to have to this turn. But that Thespian Sage is the first thing I've revealed that wouldn't just be in, like, Tempo Dreadnought or Tempo Stoneblade or even Shark still plays Wasteland, they might be surprised by this. Not that it matters. Thundering Falls. Okay, so we have Grixis Show and Tell with Transmute Artifact is what we're playing against right now. If they cast Show and Tell, I could put in Dark Depths and make it 20/20. Though their 9-card hand has to have no answers to that, if that's what's going on. They're very close to just casting Omniscience. But a Jewel. Gross. Alright, so we're dead. Show and Tell and Transmute Artifact. I wonder if the Show and Tells are in there just to make Jewel 3 mana sometimes, or if they're... Some Jewel decks win with Emrakul, and it might be interlocking synergy there. Alright, I'm good. We're chilling. My time is worth more than watching that go off. Collector Roof, Gaddock Teague, Force of Vigor, all easy. Disruptor, Flute, easy. Deafening Silence seems hard for them to beat. Swords of Plowshares. Their deck might have Emery, but get out of here. Lava Spur Boots is out. Liberator's good. Endurance is bad. Excavator could get them in a Wasteland lock, so I'm not in a hurry to cut that. I probably don't need both basic lands here, but I did also just play an entire game without access to green. Honestly, the cut's probably Shuko, but I'm trying to do Nadu stuff, at least a little bit. Is this deck going to be able to remove PARROT LAGE from play? I guess they're going to have bounce spells. Karakas bouncing Nadu is synergy. I could cut a Depths and focus on tutoring for that. I could cut Echoing Deep. Yeah, alright, Echoing Deep, you're out. I'm going in like this. No hate cards. I do have Reclaimer. I have 2 Reclaimers on turn 1. My lands are not the things that stop what they're doing. I'm much more interested in a Zenith than I am in a Reclaimer in this matchup. If I go Reclaimer, play Thespian Stage, spin up Depths, I'm showing a turn 3 win. Or a turn 3 make PARROT LAGE. I have to attack with it after that. I think I have to mulligan knowing the matchup. Rewarded. Alright, keep this. I'm going to bottom Safekeeper. And I'm going to go Deafening Silence into Collector Roof. And hopefully we are done. Opponent's on 6. Shut your mouth. They have the Force of Will. They're down to 4. They pitched a Transmute Artifact to that. I have the follow-up. Basic Island. Flagstones, Collector Roof. Oof, there it is. The hate must flow. They could still cast Show and Tell. But if they do that, I put in Knight of the Reliquary that can spin up Karakas. Shuko doesn't work with Oof in play. So I might as well just play the Knight. Though Reclaimer can sack Flagstones, which Knight can't. Okay, I'll double spell. Sandbag that Knight in case they Show and Tell me. This should have Wastelanded them. Now they're thinking about what I'm representing white for, which is good. Because they got to be in their head. That should have been a Wasteland on. I'm still thinking about casting the Knight. I didn't fully consider that line. Like, I waffled between Reclaimer plus Shuko or Knight for so long that I didn't adjust that I won't need this mana if I don't play Knight. And hopefully they would have less mana after that. They cast a Grim Monolith that doesn't work. Crop Rotation. Okay, so I can Wasteland all their shit here? Is that how I want to do this? Okay, green, white, Crop Rotation, sacrifice Flagstones. I would like a Plains. I'd like it to be Tundra. Crop Rotation. Can get another Wasteland. Or I could get Flagstones, rotate that away. Right, yeah, I'm going to pump the brakes a little bit. And this will get Wasteland, which I won't be able to activate until next turn. But I am getting set up with overwhelming resources. And I'm going to waste the Ancient Tomb, even though that's the one that hurts them, because now if they play another land, they lose City of Traders. Still holding this Knight back in case of Show and Tell. And taking that line gets Reclaimer up to 3/4, where that does massively change the clock. Now they're on a 3-turn clock instead of 5. Multiple Knights of the Reliquary. Wasteland. Attack for 5. Play Knight. Just sideboard card, curve out here into hit their life total. And now they're dead on board. Found an Ancient Tomb. We did it. Good job, sideboard. Flusterstorm can hit Transmute Artifact, and if they play Paradoxical Outcome, it can hit that too, but I don't think that card's good enough to have in compared to my Lock Pieces and Force of Vigors. Yep, just hitting submit. Here we have Force of Vigor. That one's reasonable. I can Crop Rotate a Flagstones, which casts Nadu on the next turn. Yeah, I'll keep this. Actually, Nadu's probably my pitch to force, given how this deck is constructed. Lotus Petal. I drew a Zenith. Ooh, okay. Play Flagstones, play Mox Diamond. My plan was to rotate the Flagstone. I could still just do that. I could also Zenith for Reclaimer or Dryad Arbor. I think rotating the Flagstone's better, because then I can Zenith for Oof, which actually matters. 4 mana. The One Ring has been cast. Sucks, but okay. They drew their card, and I'm gonna crop rotate in the end step and try to find an Oof. If they force this, I at least get the land out of the Flagstone trigger. Goes a long way. Okay, wow, they forced it. That kind of rules, because now any land that I draw casts the Zenith. Gonna get Savannah. Alright, deck. Any land that makes mana is good here. Can we do it? No. I don't have an Ancient Tomb. Yeah, there's no way to make that crop rotation worth another mana. I guess I'll just Zenith here. Do I get Dryad Arbor? I think the most important thing I can do is get Oof into play. But if I spend my Zenith on that, then that doesn't actually solve the problem. Oh no. Crop rotating for Wasteland when the One Ring's already in play is too late. Bummer. Alright. I guess I'm going to... I think I'm going to pass. I just think it's more likely that I draw a land and it's useful than Zenith for something mid here and then figure out a way to get back to Zenith and back to Oof. Though every turn I miss is devastating. Grim Monolith, Ancient Tomb, they have so much mana. They coveted Jewel. I'm going to let Jewel trigger Resolve and see if they play a clone effect, and I'm going to try to force it out from under them, which gives them the draw 3 first, which could be a counterspell, but I'd rather catch them with their pants down on a clone if I can. Monolith is in. Copy Artifact, okay. Did my gamble pay off? I'm going to pitch, I believe, Ramanap Excavator. Yeah, I have faith in Nadu. I believe in the Nadu. Okay, that worked. They can get another Grim Monolith. They could have a Mox Diamond. They could replace their One Ring. Grim Monolith is the call. Relic of Sauron. The good news is, if they had a force, I think they would have fought over that. Which means we're back to life if I just draw a land that makes mana. Come on, deck. Land that makes mana? Shit. Okay, well, I'm going to have to pitch Nadu to kill this Relic of Sauron, I think. What is crop rotation doing at this point? Anything? They're up to 7 cards from the ring. Yep, I was ready for Paradox Engine. That's why I didn't force in the upkeep. I would like to hit 2 things. Okay, Moment of Truth. How dead are we? Force the Relic and the Engine. Pitching Nadu. Yep, and they have the interactive spell. However, they are at 5 life at this point. But now they can shred their whole deck and it doesn't matter. Just making sure there's no land I can crop rotation for. Nope. Alright. Came down to missing my 3rd land for 2 turns. Oof. Would have been really good there. I don't think they had this force in the middle turn. They obviously forced my crop rotation on turn 1 to stop me from getting to 3 mana. And then they did not fight over Force of Vigor last turn. And now they are fighting over Force of Vigor this turn. So I think they found it this turn, and Oof would have been good on either of those draws. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables.
Good. All right, here we go, gang.
In this YouTube series, hosts Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan take us on a set-by-set journey through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a focused deep dive into the facts about a set's design and release, the Magic lore expressed through the cards in that set, Tournament Edition gameplay videos featuring products and Pro Tour decks of the era, an award show that shouts out the best and weirdest cards of the set, and a final grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables. I'm on the play in round 3. This hand seems super mediocre. Yeah, with a 3rd land, this hand's good. With a 2-drop or Zenith, this hand's good. My deck does play 29 lands, which means that more than half of draws moving forward are going to be lands. All right, I'll keep it on spec, as they say. I'll play the Heath and the Diamond. Whether or not to play the Diamond here is a little bit interesting, but I don't really want it discarded. I have Bajuka Bog and Endurance that can fight a scam situation. Well, Urza's Tower's in play, and Wasteland is in my graveyard. Come on, deck. We need that land here. Never worried. Okay, I'm going to get Savannah and play Knight of the Reliquary. I want to play Ramanap on a turn where I can immediately get value out of it. Like right now, I can Wasteland my opponent twice next turn. That is, if I'm still alive. If they have the Planar Nexus, yep, there it is. So that's 4 mana. Disruptor Flute is going to name Wasteland probably. They might name Knight of the Reliquary, but I think Wasteland is the safer thing to name. Yep, hate that for me. That means I can still activate Knight, but it means I can't Wastelock them right now. So I can go Float Sack, get Stage with 1 mana floating, rotate into Depths, another mana. Okay, so this is Dark Depths right now, if I'm willing to go all the way in on it, which I think I have to be, right? The alternative is playing Ramanap Excavator and making a land drop, but I'm just going to pass. Okay, I'm going to try to hit them with a 20/20 this turn. 7 mana. Karn the Great Creator. Ugh, I needed this Mox Diamond. Green. They're making a wish now. Is it Ensnaring Bridge? What do we got? Pithing Needle. Okay, so I guess I just make PARROT Lage right now, because this is where I have mana floating. Green floating, white floating, crop rotation, this into Thespian Stage, float a green, Knight this into Depths. Pithing Needle doesn't stop this anymore. They have made their land drop, so I'm not getting Caracas. They've activated Karn, so nothing else is going to happen here. Okay, sick. Ooh, that was... I think if they pass priority without activating Karn, they probably win that game. They just get, like, Ensnaring Bridge instead of Pithing Needle. But the Karn making me use the Mox Diamond created just an incidental timing bubble where they were advantaged. Okay, now I know what they're doing, so I'm not going to be discarding Wastelands on my first turn. Gaddock Teague seems solid here. Disruptor Flute. These are two things that turn off Karn. I don't know what creatures are going to be in this deck. This could be an Eldrazi style thing, or it could just be giant Ramptron. Juko Boots Diamonds. They're all weak versus Karn, but I think we got to deal with that. Force of Vigors in over the other 2 plows. Call it a day. Until I have more information, this is what I'm going to do. Like, this could be a more artifact-centric combo thing, or it could just be big Mana-Tron thing. There's no Wastelands or Path to Wastelands in this hand. There is a Reclaimer and a Force. I don't think this is good. Okay. This one has Path to Wasteland. I'm going to put Field of the Dead. I'm just deciding which one I'm putting on the bottom and which one I'm discarding to Mox Diamond. I think Field of the Dead is worse overall. Cloudpost. I think I'm just going to aggro flip into a Wasteland here. I get Wasteland, waste you, and I'm just going to hold the Mox Diamond in my hand. I could have played Echoing Deeps there and sacked that off of Mox Diamond instead. The replacement Cloudpost. I can play that same turn again. I'd love to draw Flagstones, or just a Wasteland down and dirty. This enters tapped as a copy of any land card in a graveyard, so it can be a Wasteland, but not till next turn. I'm gonna play Caracas, play Mox Diamond, discard the Heath, and rotate another Wasteland into play. I'm trying to squeeze their early game as hard as I can. I'm a strategy that has the ability to Wastelock, so I'm trying to do it. Urza's Tower, okay. Nadu Winged Wisdom. I'm going to play Echoing Deeps and copy Wasteland. Just got that in the bank for the future. Might be too late. If they have Planar Nexus plus Karn here, the game might be over. Okay, Planar Nexus. Disruptor Flute. Probably names Wasteland. Yep. Another Flute. Knight of the Reliquary or follow up on Wasteland. Elvish Reclaimer. Dark Depths, Thespian Stage. You wouldn't name Dark Depths. That doesn't make sense. All right, come on. Land the cast Nadu. Crop rotation. They named Ghost Quarter, which is not a card in my deck, but it is a heads-up name. I don't think there's any good ones here. Yeah, I'm just gonna pass, I guess. I couldn't apply additional engines or additional pressure. I was just wasting from behind on the draw. Oh yeah, we're dead. Okay. Had enough of that. Okay. I didn't cut this Endurance and probably should have. Prismatic Endings can remove their flutes, which we've seen multiple copies of now. Still like Liberator, Gaddock, Boots could surprise kill them, but with only one Urza Saga in my deck, I'm not that high on Boots. Okay. I'm doing it like this. There could be some small argument for Surgical Extraction, like Wasteland the Cloud Post and don't worry about it anymore. But I'm not a big believer in that sort of play pattern. I'm going to keep this hand. It accelerates, then it finds a Wasteland. And it finds it off Flagstone, so I'm not falling behind. And I'm on the play, which makes everything better. I'm going to get Tropical Eye, because I will have plenty of access to white moving forward, but I would like my Nadu to be castable if I find it. There's also a really fast Depth Sand, if I want to take that route. A Forest. Can't Wasteland that. Good call. Okay, I'm going to play Flagstones, and then Zenith for Reclaimer. Or do I want Safekeeper here? Because I am presenting PARROT Lage next turn. Yeah, I'm actually going to get Safekeeper. And if they crop rotate, I could pivot onto Wastelanding them. Every non-basic land type. That means it's not a basic land. I'm actually just going to get Wasteland and cause trouble right now. I'll get Savannah and Wasteland. Take this thing out. I'm more worried about a turn 2 Karn than I am about protecting a fast PARROT Lage, because Karn just beats PARROT Lage. I have Ugin. Okay, there are Eldrazi in this deck, but that's not usually a land you just want to put into play like that. And Urza's Saga get to work for the first time. In for 2. We're pushing damage. You have a Maya. That helps me. But they can cast Big Eldrazi this turn. Spawn can tutor. Got a tower, which is just a tower. Well, it's also a forest, but mostly just a tower. Nadu Winged Wisdom. On the board with Sylvan Safekeeper and the ability to tutor Shuko next turn. Yep. I'm going to play Field of the Dead and cast Nadu. Blue, green, colorless. I could Prismatic Ending my Nadu right now and just take a flip. I don't think that's actually good, though. Okay, we'll see what happens this turn. Oh no! That Planar Nexus is insane. That just doubled their mana. Well, they're passing the turn, though. No Karn. That's good news. Okay, do I want to make a Construct? Because a Construct is extra things to target with Nadu. So yes, I think I'll have plenty of mana if I just shred with my Shuko. Disruptor Flute. Likely to name Shuko, but I'm holding the Prismatic Ending. Yes, alright. Hope they don't have another one of those. Shuko. Forest. Prismatic Ending. Fingers crossed. No! Another one. Okay. I can still do Sylvan Safekeeper stuff, but it's way worse. Alright. Well, you fended me off this turn. I'll attack for 3. That does mean Wastelands get to stay on. Did I bring in my forces? I think I did, right? Yeah, Force of Vigors are in. Urza's Tower. I wonder if they even play the other Urza lands. Probably not, honestly. Ulamog's an interesting object here. They target my lands, and I sack the lands to save my creatures. I'm going to float a green. Nadu untargetable. If I flip Caracas, we might still play the game. I'll make Dryad Arbor untargetable also. Flip Knight of the Reliquary. That's not Caracas, not directly. There is a 10-10 in play. I'm looking for Force. I'm looking for Prismatic Ending. I'm looking for Crop Rotation. Not looking for Mox Diamond, I'm going to be honest. A Thespian Stage. Knight of the Reliquary. Attack for 3. I'm just going to have to take a hit from Ulamog and hope that the Caracas hasn't left my deck, or that I could still win in spite of that. Because Knight of the Reliquary, I could sack all my lands and make Knight 12/12. That also flips Nadu multiple times. Like, Knight could be reasonably 15, 16 power next turn. Here comes Ulamog. Goodbye, 20 cards from my deck. Both depths are gone. Great. And Caracas also gone. Force of Vigor, Prismatic Ending. Alright, it's not looking good, team. I'll take 10, though. Oh, you have the Caracas. Alright, I'm just going to get machine gunned with an untouchable Ulamog. Ulamog's indestructible, too, so Knight doesn't even do anything. That double flute got me good. Maybe I got myself good by not just going for Dark Depths, but it didn't seem correct at the time. Hitting 2 lands again. Replaced it. Haha. Nadu flip. Zenith. I have Outland Liberator. Is that gone? Of course it is. Yeah, why wouldn't it be? And my Swords of Plowshares are in the sideboard. Willamog's colorless, so I can't Sajiri step through it. And I'm out of cards here. I don't know what my outs are, but I'm going to start just flipping with Nadu. A Nadu flip, green floating. That's a Zenith. Target Nadu again in response. Reclaimer. Target Knight, sacking the Dryad Arbor. Okay, we got a Windswept Heath in play. Are there even fetchables left in the deck? There's 1, 2 planes in exile. Then in my graveyard, there's 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 fetchables accounted for. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the deck. Okay. I could also just sack this to get any land with Knight of the Reliquary. And my Caracas and stuff are in exile. So even Echoing Deep isn't going to save me. I'm going to sack Windswept Heath and see what's even left in my deck. There's Deep, Sajiri Step, Wasteland, Yavimaya. Willamog just has to attack. I have plenty of chump blockers, but that's not going to get anything done. Protection from the color of your choice. Cowards! Yeah, I could win this game if this could pick colorless, but it can't, so we don't need to talk about that. Force of Vigor is still in my deck, and I can cast it, so alright. I will give myself another flip. Flip Force of Vigor into my hand. Flipped Wasteland. Right on time with that one. Okay, float green. Target Construct. Echoing Deeps, what's up? Let's keep the party going. Dryad Arbor seems... I guess it didn't matter. I was just sacking it no matter what. Force of Vigor. Oh my god, we found it. I don't think that does anything, but if there's anything to do, this is how it's done. Okay. I will destroy your flute. Then all these resolve. Those creatures have been spent. Equip. Drew a Knight. Equip. Flip to Wasteland. Play Elvish Reclaimer. Equip. Nadu things. It's not going to matter, but I'm doing Nadu things. Behold. Thespian Stage. I could Zenith for another 1-drop, flip 2 things, and then concede. Might as well. Sick. Alright. Reclaimer. Reclaimer. They have to block Knight. Nadu can fly. I'm pushing 1 damage here, and Willamog doesn't even die. Alright, GG. Maybe I'm supposed to have Plow in. Maybe just the Willamog RNG just hit every important card. It exiled exactly half my deck. I started this turn with 20 cards. And it hit Caracas, Every Depths, Outland Liberator. Really them having the Caracas to reset Willamog. Yeah, everything just went not my way there. GG's, though. This was a really cool matchup. Anytime you have a dedicated land strategy versus a dedicated wasteland strategy, it can be pretty spicy. Welcome to TopDeck.gg, your community's home for everything competitive Magic has to offer. If you're hosting an event, playing for a huge prize, or advertising your events to thousands of players, we've got you covered. Using intuitive pairing software, playing Magic is a breeze. Players just have to sign up online, then scan the QR code in-store. Give competitors the gift of perfect information as their bracket updates in real time. The self-reporting software saves you time and leaves paper match slips in the past. Leave the heavy lifting to TopDeck.gg so your community can relax and focus on playing Magic. I'm on the draw for round 4, and my hand is bad. Dryad Arbor is not a land in any sort of useful capacity. Do I keep this? I don't know. These decks are very strange to me because, on the one hand, this is lands and spells, but they don't seem very good. Urza Saga plus Thespian Stage is a plan. I do have Dryad Arbor to pitch to Endurance. I'm definitely keeping Plow and Savannah. So I think it's Yavimaya that I bin here. Got a Ponder off of a basic island. Sylvan Safekeeper, okay. I can put something into play on turn 1. There's that card. My plan is just be a Saga gamer. They did not shuffle that Ponder last turn. Another Ponder. And a Plains. I'm going to let this go. It's not worth a land right now. Every time I play against Green-White Depths as a blue-white control deck, I end up sinking like 3 or 4 removal spells into Sylvan Safekeeper, and they just sack lands, and they always still have more lands than me, and then they still get to keep Safekeeper. I don't know how that works, but that is my experience, compared to that one where my Safekeeper is just in exile. A third Ponder, I'm very jealous, and a Flooded Strand. The good news is, these blue-white decks tend to be soft versus Saga gaming, and I'm going to get Stage in and try to copy my depths, or copy my Saga, and then copy their planes. And then I just have a basic source of constructs forever. Triumph of St. Catherine, sure. Whatever. There's that thing. Okay, Tropical Island revealed. I'm wondering if they are also a Nadu strategy at this point. Copy the Saga. Means Thespian Stage will learn how to make mana this turn. And the original Saga will pop off and should probably be a Mox Diamond. Though I did just draw Nadu. Though I don't have any protection for it. Okay, definitely just floating mana, so we can let that part happen. Shuko, Mox Diamond. Mox Diamond lets me do 2 things, and I do have another Saga ticking up. Yeah, I'll get Diamond and discard Dryad Arbor. Play this land. Swords to Plowshares. And Elvish Reclaimer. Or I could just play Nadu. I could play Endurance. I'm going to play Reclaimer. I feel like Reclaimer is good enough that it might sniff out a removal spell if they have one. Clearing the way for Nadu. Uro. They're playing the deck I'd be playing if I didn't know about Grief or Nadu. Which I mean as a compliment. This deck could definitely have Nadu in it. Things are happening. We did draw out the Swords to Plowshares. Correct not to play Nadu into that last turn. Thespian Stage ticks up. Oh, I drew Shuko. Fascinating. Well. Okay, I mean, that changes what? I could just Endurance their graveyard right now, sandbag this Nadu. I think that's what I'm going to do. Get your Uro out of here. And I'm going to hold back the Shuko. I think putting it into play where Prismatic Ending or Leyline Binding could get it is just a mistake. Up the Beanstalk. Beautiful. It feels so quaint. Just a few months ago, people wanted that shit banned, and now it's like, oh, adorable. I remember that from when we were kids. They're cracking a fetch. Xander's Lounge, so Leyline Binding confirmed as a card that might be in their deck. Saga ticks up. I copy basic planes in response. This way I get to tutor, and I get to keep that forever. Play Field of the Dead. Attack for 3. Should have equipped. I'm just playing tight magic over here. Lava Spirit Boots, post-combat. Didn't need that point of damage. Your turn. Okay, I do have a basic land, though, now that can crank out Urza Saga tokens. Here's a Terminus off the top. It's a cantrip. That sucks. But this is a pretty steady grind of a hasty 4-power creature they have to deal with every single turn. Make a construct. Equip it with boots. Leyline Binding. Do they want the boots or the construct here? They want the construct, sure. Okay, that's gone. And I'll play Reclaimer. Just keeping the pressure up now. Are we hardcasting a force? Yuck. Okay. They are still under the boot, pun intended, of hasty construct every turn as a control deck. Lots of basics in play, lots of lands in general. Construct. Equip. Here's I'm getting to attack. I'm still sandbagging the Shuko. I know it's more damage on the board, both it makes the constructs bigger and I can equip it for +1, but I want to keep this backup plan back up. If they see the Shuko coming, if they force it, then this Nadu's really bad. Uro. I think I want to plow Uro on the way through. I just don't want to see that thing or deal with it on the back end. Plow resolved. Boo! The worst possible follow-up for me. Means I spewed off my plow for no reason at all. They've got 2 cards in their hand right now. And I'm just gonna stay the course here. Equip the new one. I will play Shuko this turn. Brainstorm. Didn't see a Terminus trigger. And they didn't fetch Mystic Sanctuary before brainstorming. All those things are good for me. Okay, Shuko, get in there. Please don't get countered. I need you. Alright. Shuking up the construct. Change my mind. I want the one with Ward. Here we go. In for 12 of their 31 life points. And now they know I'm a Nadu deck. They don't know it's in my hand. They did set up a Terminus, which will buy them some time. But There are 0 cards committed to the battlefield right now for me. These are all just activations of my planes. But those are gone. And Uro's in the graveyard. Another Beanstalk, horrific. Did not play Uro, and they could have, which makes me think they're holding up Force of Will. Echoing Deep can be a Saga, a Dryad Arbor, a Flooded Strand, or a Misty Rainforest. I don't really need another Saga. That's already happening. I guess I just want a Misty Rainforest here. Want is generous. I think I'm going to get a Misty Rainforest here. Boots. Plow, sure. Okay. I am basically Raven Scryming them every turn. This is going to be a Misty Rainforest, I believe. Can I make 2 constructs next turn? 1, 2, 1, 2. I can. The tutor doesn't matter, though. Yeah, this is just going to be a Misty. It's unsexy, but Field of the Dead is looming. Endurance, okay. That is a thing that applies pressure to my life total, which is not something they've presented yet this game. It is smaller than my constructs. Even my base level smallest construct I can make in a turn is a 6/4 with Ward 1. Uh-oh, I'm getting Lingust. That's what's happening here. Yeah, they found the spot for this one. Is this a one-shot? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 19. Not quite dead. Okay, so they get the Monarch. If Nadu can turn around and flip it, this is how it happens. Mystic Sanctuary targeting Lingus, so that's what they're going to draw from the Monarch. They have 2 unknown cards plus Lingus in hand. Alright, Nadu. I've held you this long. Opponent, please don't have Force Blue card in your hand. Blue, green, colorless. Nadu. No! I mean, they've sculpted their hand like crazy, so I'm not surprised, but that was exactly what I didn't want to see. I also don't want to see this matchup in general. I'm usually the other side of this, and I'm just like, yeah, green, white depths, whatever. I have Swords to Plowshares and Interaction in my deck. Okay. How do I want to engage with this? Endurance is a flash threat, and they have shown me Uro and Mystic Sanctuary. Force of Vigor can kill Beanstalks and Leyline Bindings. Gaddock Teague turns off a lot of the cards in their deck. We've also seen creatures, though, so I can't just go swordsless. The Boots were sick that game. Don't know if I need my second basic forest. I like Liberator. I don't want Flusterstorm versus this deck, because it would be really hard for me to find a spot where they just have to tap out. And I guess Flusterstorm would have been good on that last turn where I was shoving Nadu and just praying it did anything. But that's because they just cast a 10-mana spell. It had nothing to do with the pressure they were under. They were just busy winning. You shave a crop rotation versus blue decks? Is that a thing? That sounds familiar. I'm way out of my element here. Okay, I am gonna try this. Okay, I'll keep this. I have a turn 1 Reclaimer. Turn 2 Knight. Playing the big dum-dum game. Reclaimer. Run this Caracas out here. Okay, we're pitching Solitude to deal with Reclaimer. Little Hymn to Turok. Jump to Triumph of St. Catherine to do that. Oh, wow. Showing me who the Wasteland deck is. Wasteland this. And obviously I just drew that, or else I would have played it last turn. But that does gear up my Knight of the Reliquary. Boots. I like Boots. I don't have my land lined up to play Boots this turn and then play Knight and give it haste next turn. I also control 0 forests or plains to sack to this Knight. Savannah from the opponent. Basic Island. Up the Beanstalk. You got it. I'd love to draw Yavimon so I can sack this Flagstone. Zenith. Okay. I can Zenith for Dryad Arbor or for Reclaimer. I could get Outland Liberator, but then I can't Wasteland them, which I do want to do. Okay, I'm going to Zenith for Reclaimer and then Wasteland them and attack. Is Safekeeper better than Reclaimer here? It does make it a lot harder for them to kill my Knight, which is taking giant chunks out of them. Alright, I'm on Safekeeper. Can't talk me out of it. Wasteland your Savannah. Attack for 5. I'm going cheeseball mode. I can make Knight 7/7 at will by sacking Flagstones and sacking the land I get with it. I can also use Safekeeper to filter Flagstones into forest or plains that then I can use Knight of the Reliquary with. Or I could just draw one. That's cool too. Lava Spur Boots. I'm going to equip this to Safekeeper. So I'm just attacking harder. And hope they don't blind flip Terminus. They haven't done anything to set it up. And they are dead on board. Okay, fingers crossed. Pondered's scary because that can set up a terminus. If there's one in the top 3, they could find a line to flip it. They did shuffle, though. Swords to Plowshares. I will obviously save this, sacking Flagstones. I'm prepared to sacrifice everything I have at this point because they're dead. All right, cool. One big dum-dum strat did it. Keep looking at these Flusterstorms like maybe there's something there. Just not totally convinced I'm going to win a grindy long game because they're actually better at that than I am. But if I make a quick PARROT Lage or Nadu and protect it, punch a little hole, that's really good. Do I cut a Mox Diamond? You know, it's a pretty bad top deck when you're getting grindy, but it's really good to be in the opening hand. It's also one of my best ways to cast Flusterstorm. I do want some number of Plow in my deck because they've shown me Triumph of St. Catherine. They would not expect this on the tapping out for a giant 4th Aerolingus, though. I'm slowly convincing myself that I want this. Maybe Endurance isn't actually that good because it takes a while for Uro to get going, and I have Plow and Karakas and Bajuka Bog. Okay. Flusterstorms are in. Can I keep this Mox Diamond somehow? I don't want to touch my lands anymore. I feel like I'm already tempting fate by hoarding one out here. Okay, I am cutting the other Mox Diamond. I just can't find a cut that makes more sense to me. 0 green sources in this hand. There's the Flusterstorm, though. Mulligan. Okay, this one I'm into, and I think I bottom the Depths. That's just the one that takes the longest to make right. A Zenith for Arbor jumps me ahead the most. Yeah, I want a Zenith for Arbor. Because Swords of Plowshares gets the Safekeeper, it gets the Arbor, it gets whatever here. I also have Gaddock in my deck, which will eventually turn off my Zeniths. If I can wiggle this Wasteland Ramanap squeeze in, pretty happy with that. Ooh, a Mox Diamond. That helps with the Wasteland squeeze. Waste you. Loaded a blue, move to combat. Brainstorm, sure. That might be setting up Terminus, so I have to be a little careful here. Okay, I think I'm just going to attack. Anything else I do this turn exposes me to Terminus in a way that I don't want to happen. Tundra. Ponder. Okay, that wasn't a Swords of Plowshares. Good news. I'm pretty worried about Force of Will right now, but that does frequently come out in some number when you're a control deck versus green-white. Okay, Mox Diamond. I'm going to lead on that. So that leaves my land drop up to waste them. Please resolve, please resolve, please resolve, please resolve. Boo. Okay. Gonna have to follow up with Nadu in the future. Oh, stopped in the draw step. They're gonna Stone Rain me. Oh no, it's Triumph. That might... No, that's not worse. That's fine. I have Plow. I left a couple of those in for exactly this moment. It's in there. Flagstones, Swords to Plowshares. I'm doing this first. And I am gonna just cast the fair Leovold-ass Nadu here. Their top of the deck is at random right now. No Terminus, we did it. If they answer Nadu this turn, it's gonna at least cost a card. And if I can stick this Safekeeper, Nadu starts being really interesting. Okay. We got to my turn. Safekeeper. Resolved. Stage. Attack for 4. I can copy Dryad Arbor with Espion Stage and cause a Nadu trigger. That's a fun little fold there. Oh god, they found the Terminus! I hate my life. Alright, well. Yep, that was random, right? Yep, sure was. Alright. Well, I will force them to commit the mana to cast it. And then I will sack Dryad Arbor to flip a card off Nadu. I know this doesn't save Nadu, but if I flip into Karakas here, or a crop rotation that could get Karakas, this gets kind of sick. Knight of the Reliquary. Alright. That's all I get. Well, I talked about Terminus. I played around it on the turns where they had some control over it, and then it just arrived. It's a miracle. Beanstalk. We are falling behind very quickly. If all of their cards draw 2 cards, we cannot win. Oh, good. A Wasteland. Oh, sick. They just zapped it off in a spot where I could save it. Cool. Alright, I was worried about that, but we dodged. Okay. We taught an important lesson today. And now that Thespian Stage can't be wastelanded, and Night does represent Dark Depths eventually. Okay, you're up. Okay, so I am representing PARROT Lage right now. Tundra. I think I'd rather get Saga going, though. Something's happening in the end step. Endurance, sure. targeting me, which puts all those cards back where they belong. Now sacking that Dryad Arbor to get the flip off Nadu was completely free. The only reason not to do it is whether you want it in your deck or you want it in play, or you want it in the graveyard. And now it's in my deck anyway. I feel like they would have plowed Knight if they could, and I should just make PARROT Lage here. But they just pondered and then didn't shuffle. You know, I could block, make PARROT Lage. Knight of the Reliquary is a 4/4. I mean, the block I'm doing. It would need another piece of graveyard. Okay, do I want to just get a fetch land and play it safe here? Or do I want to actually make PARROT Lage? Going in. Okay, so Knight will be a 5/5 in combat. And I will also at least briefly have a 20/20. And I can play another Knight this turn if all of this gets stuffed. Oh, please let me untap. Sejiri Step is so live. No, they figured it out in the end step. All right. Don't have the crop rotation. I don't have the Leyline or the Force of Vigor plus green card either. Okay, Zenith. Zenith for Teague. Real quick. Zenith for 2. There was a small hesitation. I hope that means that the Force of Will's in their hand. I'm going to bash. I know I could be holding up Sejiri Step, but I'm just going to try to kill them now because I don't know how I'm ever going to win this game if I don't start hitting for damage. Okay, Leyline Binding, Force of Will, Terminus are all offline at this point. Fourth Aerolingus is offline. Swords of Plowshares went after my Knight instead of my Teague, so they're clearly not worried about it. Edge Maze. Kept a card on top. Ooh, the Lib. Could own the Libs here. They are showing Endurance. How many of those do I think they have? Losing Gaddock Teague to Endurance would be so horrific. I'm going to play Knight. It's just my better card. And they did play Endurance. I think they're getting a little antsy here because this is still first main. I could have still attacked with Gaddock Teague even with Knight of the Reliquary in play. And now I'm just never going to do it. Okay. There's a pause in their draw step. It could be Triumph. Yeah, that one still works. It is a creature. Triumph's in, +2 cards. Endurance gets to bash. Certainly not blocking here. And Swords to Plowshares. Double Beanstalk so cracked. We've forgotten about this in the scam era. But this shit is still good. Legend Rule my Flagstone. Get a Savannah. If there's still one in my deck. There should be. I've been in Endurance a million times. Outland Liberator. Which would have been great to have in play a couple turns ago when they cast that Leyline Binding. But now it doesn't matter. They have 32 cards in their deck and 7 minutes on their clock. Almost 8 minutes on their clock. All of my alternate win cons are not viable here. Wasteland doesn't really help. The Trap Breaker did wake up, which means I get to attack and kill some shit for freezies. If they flash in a third Endurance here and beat me in combat, I'll just concede. But I gotta take these chip shots where I can get them. I guess Gaddock Teague should have attacked there too, because he's not blocking, and if I'm making attacks that just get completely blown out by any combat trick anyway. Wow, Solitude. Alright, yep, we're cool. Alright, completely obliterated in a matchup that I love the other side of. Their deck's great, just Bant Beanstalk, prepping for the post-grief universe. On to the final round, we've got a reverse trophy to fend off. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. I'm on the draw in the final round versus Kulu Limpa, who I believe is generally a stompy Ancient Tomb kind of gamer. I will keep my hand, though I wish I was on the play. My hand's great against Blood Moon. Uh-oh. Lotus Petal, Volcanic Island, Lotus Petal. We're just going to get show and told. We are indeed. Please put in Emrakul, because Knight of the Reliquary can beat that. Traxa. Alright. You got a bunch of cards, but I can clear this thing. There's Sneak Attacks and Omnisciences in this pile, like crazy. If one of their last 2 cards is another show and tell, they can Omni kill me next turn. Okay, so they took Ancient Tomb, Sneak Attack, Veil of Summer, and Atraxa. Okay, let's see if I can rally back here. Plains. I'm just going to Swords of Plowshares, actually, and save the Caracas. Okay. Mox Diamond doesn't really do it. I could spin up a Wasteland. This might be the way. Alright. They went in heavy on this turn 1 show and tell, and I'm going to try to flip the script and resource deny them in their hand with sneak attack plus Atraxa that we know about. Basic Island Ponder. Okay, so we didn't know 3 of the 8 cards that they had access to. Or 3 of the, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3 of the 7 cards they didn't have access to. And Scalding Tarn and Ponder were 2 of them. Did shuffle the library. I don't play a Ghost Quarter. Crop Rotation, which I cannot cast. If they show and tell again, I can put in Ramanap. Yavimaya is probably my best draw. Arcane Artisan. Okay. That is eventually an Atraxa. And I find Swords to Plowshares. Again. Alright, yeah, we're just shitting out on Mox Diamonds now. There might have been a better way to do that. Maybe the Wasteland was too aggressive. But I can clear an Atraxa token pretty easily if I get a Plains or Forest. Yeah, if you haven't seen this one, Ancient Show and Tell tech that we haven't seen in a while. Target player draws a card, then exiles a card from their hand. If a creature's exiled this way, they make a copy of that card. And when Arcane Artisan dies, so does everything that it made. Oh, Emrakul. Well, we are even more dire to hit the Plains or Forest this turn. Come on, Forest, Plains, or any land that casts Crop Rotation. Alright. Mox Diamond. Discard Thespian Stage. Float White. Crop Rotation. They actually can't even stop me here, even if they force the Crop Rotation, because I can then sack the Forest or the Plains. I'll get a Caracas. Bounce the Emrakul. And I think I just keep attacking here. In for 6. Alright, yep, let's make that Ancient Tomb hurt. Thundering Falls, ETB tapped, which means if I connect for 6 this turn, they can't tap Ancient Tomb. If I just Wasteland them this turn, they can't play anything. Okay, can I draw a land? Shuko, perfect. Okay, so what I want to do is waste them. My options are cast Ramanap Excavator, hope they don't have a counterspell, or I could simply sack my Savannah to waste them. I have to leave up Caracas because they can make an Atraxa right now. Okay, I think I'm supposed to just take the short thing, get the Wasteland, waste your Ancient Tomb. If they make an Atraxa here, I have to bounce it. If they don't make an Atraxa here, I can still play Ramanap. They are, of course, going to make an Atraxa, though. It would make little sense not to. Okay, so they've got Show and Tell, Scalding Tarn, Force of Will, Emrakul is what they kept there. Alright, so that Wasteland hits. We bounce this Atraxa. Might as well play Shuko. And pass the turn. If they have another Soul Land. There it is. Alright, yeah, I'm getting Emrakul right now. Is there anything I can do about it? I can Crop Rotation, but I don't think that helps me at this point. Did I need to just waste them one more time? And I can go to no permanence, and what does that do? Does that even do anything for me? I could waste their red source. Okay, hold on. I know they have Force of Will in hand. And they have 5 cards I don't know about. The Caracas is dying anyway. What's my best chance here to play multiple turns of this game? Yeah, I just don't even put in a permanent here because it dies to Emrakul. Yeah, I just don't have anything here. Shit. Alright, I am not going to put anything in because everything I would put in dies. Oh, you had Omniscience. Cool. That's even worse. Alright, we made a game out of that, all things considered. Our non-blue deck versus turn 1 Show and Tell. I like Flusterstorm. Force of Vigor is probably fine. And take out an Omniscience after they cast their first thing with it. Take out a Sneak Attack. Disruptor Flute can name Show and Tell or Sneak Attack. It turns off Sneak Attack entirely and just makes Show and Tell cost more. I don't think I need Endurance. Plow actually would have been huge that game. Don't think I need Safekeeper. Teague turns off Sneak Attack and Force of Will. I think I like that. Do I actually want Force of Vigor? The important questions here. I don't need Bojuka Bog. First matchup in the whole league where I cut Bojuka Bog. That's interesting. Yeah, I want my Plows. They showed me main deck Arcane Artisan. Maybe I cut Lava Spur Boots. Like, I understand that clocking them might be really important. But like I've said before, it's a one-of that can only be tutored by a one-of. Field of the Dead is too slow on rate for this matchup, but it is really good with Nadu if I need to overcome an explosive show and tell start. I still believe in Nadu. I want to do the thing. Like having access to Caracas as reliably as possible matters a lot. I'm looking at the crop rotations for that. Do I go down to 1 Nadu? Oh, I'm running out of time here. Maybe Echoing Deeps. Yeah, I'm just panicking and clicking buttons at this point. 61 card special. We're going in. Okay. I could ramp into Knight of the Reliquary, except that the Dryad Arbor's in my hand. I think I am going to keep this, though. I'll just lead on Dryad Arbor, and that's my land. Feels terrible. It is a forest, though, if they shove a quick show and tell again. Oh, yeah. It's happening. I feel like I'm going to get Omniscience this time, though. Yeah, they know what's going on. I am going to put in Knight and prepare to lose, is my plan. Yep, Omniscience. Fingers on the concede button. Sick. Good game. All right. Okay, a reverse trophy, unfortunately. And part of that is almost certainly my lack of experience with green-white depths. This is an extremely high-skill deck that it is very punishing to be wrong when if you don't understand how a matchup is supposed to fundamentally work, or if you make a small tactical mistake in executing a strategy that would be good if you executed it correctly. You just have to be perfect on both the strategic level and the tactical level. And I'm sure that I wasn't, even in ways that I missed. Like, I did miss a few things where it's like, oh, I could have got a damage here, or I could have equipped Lava Spur boots here, or whatever. But there's probably stuff that I missed completely because this deck's so complicated. But what I didn't miss was we mulliganed a lot of hands that didn't cast spells. We also drew Shuko in a lot of spots where it was worthless. We did Nadu stuff one time, but it was already behind because the Ulamog had exiled all our outs. I don't think this juice is worth the squeeze. Having 2 additional lands in your deck that aren't just your core colors, like you're missing white or you're missing green with one of your dual lands. Normally this is a 4 Savannah deck. I feel like Flagstones is supposed to be a 4 of 2, because that's all your best synergies with Reclaimer and crop rotation and everything. And I'm not super in tune with how people are building green-white depths right now, but having only 2 Flagstones felt like I was playing from behind, because if you have to actually sacrifice lands fair and square to do your stuff, then you're not pulling ahead, or you're not breaking parity. Yeah, I think in a shell like green-white depths, where everything has to be as tight as possible, this is not a shell that you want to innovate cute little interactions into. Because even having 2 Nadus, 1 Shuko, and you have ways to tutor Shuko, and you have ways to tutor the tutor for Shuko, and then your Zenith deck for the Nadus, that's still, even those 3 slots that are so lovingly tucked into the existing deck, still cost us real percentage points when we drew those cards that were not useful. I love Nadu. This might not be the home for it. MPBC, sorry I couldn't give you a better showing. Thank you for sharing the deck, though. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, and I'll see you next time.